Welcome to another Design League playthrough, and this one is from phannigan, who is another name of a newer designer I haven't really come across much before. What I love about this one immediately is that I haven't seen an autumn kind of harvesty one yet, and the use of all the brown trees you've given it gives it a really cool feel. Particularly in that you've combined it with Delta, which we've seen a fair bit recently, with Bragg Highlands and Breton Bay. Two courses I absolutely love. So yeah, you're in good company there. What have we done here? Sunk in some big industrial houses, I guess. I won't pretend to understand what that is. Clearly in our 800 by 350 area, and it's done, I guess, the way most people have approached this, which is holes in parallel, and then a path 3 at one end, and what have we got? Oh yeah, two path 3s at that end. So first off, your first sideline looks really nice in that I can just see bunker layering works well. Get a little glimpse through to, is that a clubhouse down there? But that's nicely crafted, that little peek through. I guess the split fairway makes sense, but that's very low profile land movement to split a fairway. I'd be tempted to run the fairway through it, and I think you'll generally get a better outcome. Because you have given us options, but it kind of reduces it to more stark options when you split a fairway. It's like either you go here, or you go here, or you carry this. And if we carry this, we've got to hit it absolutely perfectly not to end up in a bunker. Green side I like, it's very propped up, but that's okay. Now, you, as with many others, I think in this, bunker sculpting is something that is a work in progress. I think you can bump up the backs a little bit more. They're kind of inconsistent. That one's deeper than this one, which is deeper than this one, and this bit's dropping down a little bit. And I think also you can make them sit in the land a little bit better. This one is, I completely get why this is happening. It just takes practice. Like, you want to create a hill back here, but you don't want to block your sight line, which is why this one's sort of going up and down. Part of it's thinking about where bunkers really want to sit in the land, but most of it honestly is just about getting used to the tools. It's not a good swing. Still, heavy rough over there is maybe not the end of the world. It's par 5, and let's see, where do we want to leave it? I do like the boldness of this green. Like, it's a fun first green because I can see how you can easily land it short and roll it all the way around. But you've also given us some nice subtle interest with the spine going through here as well, which might differentiate a pin from there to a pin from there, really, like in a big way without doing too much, which, yeah, I really appreciate. Just lay up short of the bunker, shall we? That's going to be too much, isn't it? Tried to hit partial, I'm miles off my tempo this morning. But yeah, whole plays really well. That one did not feel very slow. I appreciate your efforts with the fence down there. That is boring as hell to do. I mean, not to look at. Yeah, solid first hole. I think, yeah, just the tee shot. I think you could tie together a little bit more. I think the approach shot's really interesting. I really like the backdrop, the water. I think it looks super nice. I love how you've planted over this side and left a lot of empty space here. It is a bit too empty, like we have a lot of nothingness over here, and that's kind of a game thing. Like, this might, patches of heavy rough going on for ages might look great in real life, it just doesn't translate that well in game. Be tempted to bring your water in a little bit more. What have we got here? Is that a corner of the plot thing? I'm guessing. Would make sense. Okay, another interesting green with a couple of tiers. A lot of little slopes. And again, making what is not a pin surrounded by red, still requiring a very precise approach in that we want to be below the hole, but I might have allowed a little bit more space on this green vertically, to allow you to really run it up a bit more to this pin. I get that I can, but I'm having to do it by landing off the green, which isn't necessarily the easiest way of doing it. Swing planes all over the place this morning. Tree colours look so good and really pop. Like this tree line wise, this is a great look. Like totally take this into a future course because there's a full 18 coming out of this, I'm sure. I think the other thing, just thinking on like what would I do if it were a full 18, I think bunker style, like they are, I've spoken about this shapes wise with a couple of others, they're just kind of there, like, and I know these are sorts of bunkers you might see on a Muni in real life, but I think try to jazz up the shapes a little bit. Look at how a Matt F or someone does their bunker shapes, and lean on some ideas from that. And I mean, they are placed well. Like, that one really angled the fairway nicely, and these ones again work really well. I think once you get on top of sculpting and shaping, these are going to look great. Hole design's good, really good. Oh, get in the bunker. But yeah, we can see this one's very flat. Not like totally, but flat enough. And I love the green side that we're playing into this corner of trees. I think that sort of look is really underrated, where there's open space, but then you're playing in towards like a little grove. Really like that sort of thing. Ooh, okay. Well, one good tempo is all we need. So yeah, I think big planting good, detailed planting I think we maybe do. This hole now suddenly feels really overgrown given the open looks you've given us before. I think suddenly chucking in this sort of planting, I appreciate it. I think it's good and it's welcome. It's just kind of come out of nowhere compared to previous ones. I would like to see you give a little bit more space for driver. I think this is very narrow. Like, not overly so, but it basically forces the one question of do you want to hit driver or not. Whereas that green is on the small side, maybe a touch too small. I mean, how many pins we got? One here, one here, one here. The one in and around here is going to be a bit dicey. Yeah, I think widening this one would help you out. And I understand that your tree line here can't go, but I think you could definitely shuffle on this side. Because when we looked at this, and that would have brought this planting a little further into view on this hole, which would have been helpful. So I think spacing is something on this one. The sideline again looks good. I like the way those bunkers are just peeking out and kind of directing you as to where the hole is going. Yeah, same thing with bunker sculpting. I just wish they weren't quite so flat. But that is really common. Oh, that's not the swing I expected to see. Hopefully that rolls down. I might have chucked something a little greener in this, that it all looks maybe a little bit dead. Even though I know you've got the autumn colours all around, I think some green bushes would really offset that. Like the big green ones from Countryside or Highlands are great. I think you'll know what I mean. Like, right, short par 3, really well placed, good green site. I'd have liked to see the bunker brought around the front a little bit more. Just so it's, but the runoff on this side is good. Again, just your empty space. Like some planting here or here would be great. Just to break it up visually a bit. Like I say, big planting is absolutely on point. It's the more detailed stuff that I think we just need a bit more of, frankly. Made it over the spine. And I like the way you've blocked out underneath the tree line. That works really well. Yeah, it's really just the planting in between holes, and cutting some of that empty space that's all, oh Ben, that's an awful part. Well, we'll throw back our shot. Really enjoying this, though. I think it's well designed. There's a few things I'd clean up, but the whole designs are good. I think you're challenging driver kind of in a similar fashion. It's often, can you hit this spot, rather than is there necessarily a preferred side of the fairway, which is definitely a style of design. But I think you can ramp up your strategy on drives a little bit more. Oh, and the kid is starting to struggle. She's done pretty well. I will take that from where I was. I think personal preference, I would always rather see a wide well, and this is personal preference, I would always rather see a wide fairway. So if someone just wants to hit fairway and doesn't mind putting themselves in a bad spot to attack a green, and you can ramp up the pressure on the second shot, I'd always rather that, because I think what it does allow everyone to do is it allows people to hit an approach shot and to take on that green, which is, in my opinion, a bit more entertaining than hacking out of heavy rough. But that very much is a personal preference, I will stress that. But yeah, loads to like there, like really enjoyable. I thought the whole designs were good. The environment was generally well executed. Big planting tree lines and the look were great. Definitely some things to look at, and I hope that this has helped pinpoint those. And yeah, I mean, keep designing, keep entering these contests, and best of luck.